you so much for joining me today. Today's video is a throwback to one of the very first videos I ever recorded, in which I showed you a little bit of my record collection. That video is since deleted because the audio quality was very bad, but I've updated my collection a little bit since then, so I'd like to show you some of my favorite records. I received a new record player and speakers for Christmas, so I've really enjoyed getting back into listening to vinyl. It's just a perfect thing to do while doing something else. I feel like it really helps me focus because I'm locked in for however long the side of the record is. So without any further ado, let's get straight to it. This is the most recent record that I've bought. This is Alpha Zulu by Phoenix. I probably bought this close to 6 months ago. I have not been keeping up with updating my collection. But I really enjoy this album. It's kind of indie pop. I would say it's kind of like Vampire Weekend. The lead singer of Vampire Weekend features in one of the songs on the record. Their most popular song is probably Listomania, which came out maybe 2012. I feel like I heard that song everywhere. This is Alpha Zulu. Alpha Zulu. Alpha Zulu is probably my favorite track. I also really like Identical. Identical, identical, identical. The cover art is kind of cool. There are 4 young men, Renaissance style painting, looking at what looks to be a book, but it's just this glowing light. I like the juxtaposition of the kind of neon, modern looking colors with the faded aspect of the painting. If you look at it close, you can see the brush strokes, the cracks in the varnish. I will show you the vinyl, but I will not tap on it. That would be not very good for it. But it almost perfectly matches my nails. That was not planned or on purpose. This next record is the jewel of my collection. It is the Studio Ghibli orchestral recordings, and this is the Princess Mononoke variant. I love this cover art. Of the wolf spirits, the boar spirits, Ashitaka, San, Lady Eboshi, his elk, Yakul, I think it is, Yakul the elk, and the little guys. I think this cover art is so gorgeous. This recording contains music from Princess Mononoke, My Neighbors, the Yamadas, Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, and The Cat Returns. There were 4 variants of this record that were sold, and each had different cover art. This one is Princess Mononoke. There was one for The Cat Returns. The little mice. The Baron. And then on the inside you can see the other 2 cover arts. One for Howl's Moving Castle. You can see Howl, Markle, Calcifer, Sophie, and Turniphead. Then lastly, there's Spirited Away with Chihiro in the center, Haku after he got all his paper cuts, the radish spirit, Yubaba, the big nose, no face, and each different variation, in addition to having different artwork on the cover, has different colored vinyls. So because this is the Princess Mononoke version, the vinyl records are blue and red. I'll show you. So one record is this beautiful shade of sky blue, and one is this kind of pink red shade. You can see my windows in the reflection. My desk is kind of dirty, so pay no mind. But of course, while the cover art is gorgeous, as are the records, the music is something even more special. I love all of the Studio Ghibli film scores. STUDIO Studio. And I like to put on this record while I'm working or reading and listen to the orchestral rendition of a couple different Ghibli movies. My favorite song off the album is probably the first one, which is The Legend of Ashitaka. The Legend of Ashitaka. It's one of my favorite songs from the Ghibli movies. I do just love film scores in general, and one of my absolute favorite film scores is How to Train Your Dragon. I think it is such an underrated film score. It's starting to get its due, I think. But for a long time it was very underrated. So this is the film score to How to Train Your Dragon. 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 And we have Toothless and Hiccup and the Moon. I love nearly every song from this movie, but my favorites are probably Test Drive and Forbidden Friendship. Test Drive is such a good song. If you have not listened to it, I highly recommend. Some other film scores that I would love to get on vinyl are, of course, the Lord of the Rings soundtrack. And I also love the score for Your Name. I looked at getting the Your Name soundtrack on vinyl, but it's about $120, so maybe I'll save up for it. Although a lot of my records are new releases, are newly printed, I also have some old records. This is Simon and Garfunkel's Greatest Hits. Simon and Garfunkel is so nostalgic for me. When I was young, my mom would sing me Bridge Over Troubled Water. It's kind of a lullaby. And so that song in particular just makes my heart just kind of get that nostalgic feeling. But I also love Mrs. Robinson, Cecilia. Cecilia is such a fun song. That song always puts me in a good mood. And for some reason, this seems to be a Chinese version. The song names are also listed in Chinese. Not sure why, but I got this for about maybe $5 or $6 at a used record store. And it's just a very nostalgic band for me because I grew up listening to them. This next album is from the band that I have the most of on vinyl, and it's this indie band called Minus the Bear. I don't know if anyone else will have heard of them, and that's not me being obnoxious, I hope. But this is a band that releases a lot of their music on vinyl, and they always have really fun colored variants, so it is just fun to collect. This album is called Lost Loves LOSTLOVES. Lost Loves. This album has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 songs. This is not my favorite album by Minus the Bear, but it does have my 2 favorite Minus the Bear songs, which are track 8, Southside Life, and track 9, Your Private Sky. Your Private Sky. And I think the cover art is very lovely. Looks like maybe a dogwood blossom. Hard to say. Lost Loves. And this is also a really pretty clear marbled vinyl. It's translucent but has this blue and pink marbling. It's blue and pink and white marbling, which I think is really lovely, and it looks really pretty when it is spinning on a turntable. It's upside down. Okay, I have 2 albums left, and this is not obviously every record that I own. It's just a small selection of some of my favorites. Tried to have a mix of musical styles. And this one is hefty. This is Fall Out Boy, Folie à Deux. thought this one was a gift. I have a couple of Fall Out Boy albums, but this one is my favorite. I like almost every song on this album. There are no skips for me, whereas the other albums have at least one skip. Although I really like the newest Fall Out Boy album so much for Stardust. But this was a gift because this is my favorite Fall Out Boy album. And these records are, I think, Red and Orange. Red and Orange. This is a very hefty set. It is 2 records, and they have a lot of weight to them. It is really hard for me to pick a favorite song off of this album. It just depends on what mood I'm in. But I really like Disloyal Order of Water Buffaloes. Coffees for Closers. $20 Nosebleed. At First Slide into Cooperstown on a Bad Bet. Classic Fall Out Boy style song titles. I was a huge pop punk fan as a teenager, and I still am. I also have a couple Panic at the Disco albums. And then the last record is maybe not my most aesthetically pleasing record, but it's Rise Against Appeal to Reason. This is the album that got me in to Rise Against. I was checking that. RISEAGAINST. I don't listen to this album as much as some of the others because when I'm reading or when I'm crocheting or when I'm cleaning, it's not always what I'm in the mood for. It's not like put it on in the background and it's just some relaxing background music. This gets you going. But this has been a very influential band for me, particularly during my teenage years. I love the song From Heads Unworthy. Savior is a classic. So although I don't listen to this quite as much as the other ones, I'm very happy to have it in my collection for when I am in the mood. But when I think about new records I want to add to my collection, it's almost all instrumental because I like to play it in the background. I would love to have Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker Suite and Holst's The Planets. I love the planets, especially Jupiter, bringer of jollity. I'd also like to have the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, the Your Name soundtrack. Those are probably the top 4 records I'd like to add to my collection. It would also be fun to add some older records, since most of my records are newer pressings. But the record stores in my area do focus more on new vinyl than used vinyl. If you listen to vinyl, I would love to know what your favorite records in your collection are. Please let me know in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. But for now, good night. Good night.